Hi, everybody. I'm Dee Lisa, the Dream Doula for Women.
And I am Cristina Spataro, a psychotherapist and relationship coach.
Thank you for being here, Christina. And today we're going to talk about things that are not complete and
Okay.
how that stretches your energy and your attention and isn't ideal.
Mm.
So, when you're talking with your clients, does that ever come up? Do they ever say, "Oh, I started that master's degree, but yeah, I didn't finish it"?
Absolutely. Because I mean, one of the reasons people come to a therapist or a coach, I don't know about you, but a lot of people come to me because they have things they want to accomplish and they want a little accountability and help with figuring out how to actually make something complete.
Yeah, they need help actually finishing the thing that they started, or
Yes.
maybe even starting the thing that they want to.
Exactly. So, a big part of what I do is help people really hone in what is it you actually want
Mm.
and the best steps to get there. What has stood in your way before now, and what is the way forward?
Yeah, one of the things I took a class years ago, and the woman used an analogy of what if you have like this big giant sweater and there are all these
Mm-hmm.
strings hanging off of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you complete everything, it's like snipping off all the stray threads, and then you have a
Mm.
sweater. Now, I'm a knitter, so I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no, then it'll ravel. But maybe if she used the analogy, it was like you have a shirt or something with
Mm-hmm.
stray
Mm-hmm.
threads. You're going to cut them all off. Then you've got the thing. So at that time, I thought, I don't have anything. What do I have that's unfinished? And I could actually go around my house and look at projects I had started that I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
finished. I had a sweater I hadn't finished. I had some
Mm.
sewing I hadn't finished. I started painting some corner of the house but didn't finish. The things, the gardening outside was only half done. And the big goal, big dream projects I hadn't even begun
Mm-hmm.
those because
Mm-hmm.
there was just a little part of your brain that is connected to those things that are not quite done yet, and it
Mm-hmm.
pulls away your energy for the rest of life.
Exactly. And it's all about where do you want your energy to be? Like to the writer, the unfinished novel, to the painter, the unfinished painting. So the question is, where do you choose to put your energy? What matters to you? You know, we can have, in fact, if we go into people who have ADHD, they got a bunch of unfinished projects because they're highly creative and their minds go in many different directions. So they will start a bunch of different things, but then have a harder time with follow through because then, the other stuff takes over.
Yeah, yeah, that's so beautiful. So in the world of feng shui, I'm going through this book again because I just love it so much. Clear your
Mm-hmm.
clutter with feng shui. Um, the whole idea that there's stagnant energies in our
Mm-hmm.
environment and maybe
Mm-hmm.
even our mind that is keeping us from moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfinished business is part of the clutter you can clear from your mind.
Absolutely.
Some of these might be unfinished conversations.
Exactly.
And
Maybe a conversation. Mm-hmm.
maybe there's something that you didn't finish with a
Mm-hmm.
beloved or something that you didn't thank them for. Or so,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you didn't go to that job interview, you just blew it off. That's going to be like a worm in your brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? The things that you didn't go, the things that you didn't try, at least say, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
At least call them and say, oh, hey, you know what? I didn't show up. Sorry. Just
Yeah.
want to be complete with that.
I
And
agree.
I don't want that job.
Yeah. I think
uh,
for those social things, what holds people back is like that, the little bit of fear. But I don't want someone to get mad at me or I feel bad,
right.
that kind of thing. So I think this is the whole idea of ghosting has become part of, unfortunately, part of our society. The idea that I don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation. So I'm just going to stop talking to you and then slowly fade away. And then you'll forget about me and I'll forget about you. And we just forget all this ever happened. Rather than let's be adults, let's talk about this, let's resolve what we want to do about it.
Yeah, like maybe you're not my person. Thanks
Yeah,
for the conversation. Bye.
exactly, exactly. But that is so hard for us a lot of times because it requires that maybe someone might be a little mad, might not actually like you after that. And sometimes that can be really, really hard. And just like I tell my clients, you have the right to say what you need to say to someone, but they have the right not to like it.
Yeah. Ooh, sure. And that, well, but that is, I think, why people stop themselves from having those difficult conversations is they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to have the other person not like what they're saying,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right? They don't want to be rejected or
Right.
shamed or argued
Mm-hmm.
with.
Mm-hmm. And also, why do we not maybe not finish projects? Maybe we're afraid, well, maybe that painting I started wasn't good enough. Maybe that job I'm going for, they'll reject me. So if I don't even go, then I don't have to feel bad that I didn't get it. Maybe that relationship, I'm afraid if it didn't work out. So if I never try, then I don't have to feel bad, and so
Yeah.
forth and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's an unfinished project in my house.
Mm,
It includes putting away a bunch of art supplies. How
okay.
about you? How about you? What's an unfinished project you can think of?
Probably a novel I was working on
Mm-hmm.
because I've written different things, and this one I had started a while ago, and I had this really great vision for the story, and then I kind of hit a wall, and then I just everything other things got in the way, and I just didn't get back to it.
Right. Although many famous writers work on their books for years, decades
Oh yeah.
even. So
Yes.
it's unfinished, yet you know you'll go back to it.
Yes, I will.
Hmm. Hmm. And yeah, my art supply pile is unfinished, but I know I'll keep going back to it and keep rearranging it and taking some to my
Mm-hmm.
studio and taking some
Mm-hmm.
home. La 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 la.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yes, I have an unfinished painting or two as well that I'm working on. Do I have any unfinished conversations at this point? Not that come to the front of my mind. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
complete with most people. Although
Mm-hmm.
I did have some people sign up to have a conversation with me on Zoom yesterday and they didn't
Mm.
come.
Oh.
So I'm like, they didn't say they weren't coming, they just didn't
Mm-hmm.
come. I'm like, oh, dang,
I
I just
know.
got ghosted.
Yes, getting ghosted is actually quite common in this field. I think, especially when you're talking about personal journeys,
Mm,
some people think they're ready and they're not.
yeah,
And so they sign up, they get excited, and then they disappear. And I get it. And sometimes, if we've had a good conversation, I will reach out. I will say, hey, just checking, are you still interested? Because I get it's hard. And I even acknowledge that when I reach out. I'll say, listen, I get it, it's hard. And I get you get go feet. But I just want you to know, should you change your mind, no hard feelings. It's okay either way.
yeah, yeah, because maybe they feel like they can never contact you again because they did that.
Exactly. So I let them know that whatever you decide to do is fine, that I'm not going to be another relationship in your life that is going to make you feel bad. That's not
Right,
that's not what I'm doing.
right. Cool. Yeah, no pressure. No pressure, but finish the conversation. Just like, no
Finish the
thanks. I changed my mind.
conversation. Exactly.
Changed my mind.
It's okay.
It's always okay to change your mind.
Of course. It's always okay. And I think sometimes we feel a sense of guilt, but oh, but no, I said I would do this. And I'm like, Okay, you didn't promise someone a kidney. It's okay to change your mind.
Right. Right. And yeah, and changing your mind with the integrity that doesn't leave it feeling like it's unfinished business.
Exactly.
Is there's probably a way to change your mind instead of ghosting someone.
Yes.
Tell them you're not interested.
Yeah.
And change your mind instead of just not showing up for an appointment. Say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm too afraid, or I changed my
Yeah.
mind, or I'm just simply not coming.
Yeah.
That's
That's okay.
better, better for everybody.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm like, is it
Yeah.
today? Is it right now? Wait,
Mm-hmm.
what? Does that still
Mm-hmm.
work for the, like, do you have a phone? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
a watch? If you look at your wrist, does a symbol still mean like what time
I
is it?
I think it must, because I actually took American Sign Language, and this was one of the
That's
signs.
it? What time is
Yeah,
it?
I think so. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while.
Because
But
now the
yes,
modern way might be,
yeah, I've got to look up if they changed the sign, but I think so. It's just so weird, like things that we grew up with that are just part of our culture, like forever, with the iPhone, and just within the last, since I want to say like 2010, how it's changed so much of
mhm.
how we view things.
Well,
So it's,
there are children now that are young adults that don't know how to read analog clocks.
yes, it's true. I saw a YouTube video like that where they're telling to say the time, and I don't know whether to laugh or cry. They have no clue how to read an analog clock.
I remember thinking it was hard to figure out when I was in like first grade, but I was a kid.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
was hard. Everything was hard to figure out. I was trying
Sure.
to like write with a pencil and
Mhm.
tell us what time it is. And when the big hand is on this, it means that. And when the little hand's on this, it means this other thing. And
Yeah.
then all the different ways to say it's this much after, or it's this much before, and it's a quarter
Hmm.
after, half past. What? And now it's just
Yeah.
digital time
Just
from a
digital
digital
time.
device.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing with the devices. Sometimes I go down the YouTube rabbit hole and I watch like these comedians. So there's a few that I enjoy, and they talk about the difference between, children of the 80s or before and after.
Hmm.
And so they kind of play with it, like when they talk about the next generation. I'm like, listen, we can read a map. We can write cursive, you know? And then there was one, she was so funny. She's like, I said, people, they worry about that generation taking over. And she's like, I'm pretty sure we can take it back if they really mess it up, because we'll write our plans in cursive on the back of an envelope.
And then we'll make all the cars be stick shifts.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, this is like talking to my grandfather. When
Exactly.
my grandfather was reminiscing about going to grade school, and he
Mm-hmm.
said he used to take his horses to school. He and his two
Wow.
brothers rode their horses to school. I'm like, that sounds so cool. I
Yeah.
said, was there a hitching post out front of your school like in the movies? And he said, no, honey, there was a barn. A lot of kids took their horses to school. And I thought, oh, there was a barn. And he said, but I didn't want to ride my horse. I wanted a bicycle.
Mm,
Other kids had bicycles. I did not have a bicycle. I didn't want to ride
interesting.
my horse to school.
There
So
you
every
go.
generation has the things that they want that's new and modern.
Yes.
For grandpa, it was he wanted a bike, not a horse. Nowadays, I think there'd be lots of kids who would love to ride their horse to school.
Oh, yeah, that'd probably be really cool for them. And isn't it funny how things that, are from the past and aren't considered modern anymore, that people actually are developing an affinity for? Like the idea that record players are like collector's items. If I had known this, I would have saved my collection, my old Fisher Price record player, and my collection of 45s.
I would have saved all my LPs. Yeah, I had some good rock and roll music from the
Mm,
70s.
yeah.
But record players at a certain point, they showed us that no, there was a better higher fidelity sound, and it was
Mm-hmm.
from a tape.
Yep.
And
A
then it
tape.
was, no, wait, we have even higher fidelity. It's on a CD.
CD.
I was like, wait.
No,
Now it's
no.
just, we're going to stream it.
We're
It's
gonna
going to be
stream
as
it.
good as your internet. And now kids are like, wait, ah, I don't want Spotify. I want a record player. And I'm going to go find vintage records that aren't all scratched up. And
And
so we're
that
back to records.
we're back to records, and it just shows how cyclical life is. So
Indeed.
I guess to come full circle, finish your unfinished things because you don't want them to come back to haunt you because everything comes around again.
Ooh, ooh. That's a mic drop. Thank you, Christina.
You're
We'll
welcome.
stop there.
Yeah.